What is up, people? It is Real American Politics back again with a new big tech video thing. I guess this is a new series. So you guys wanted me to talk more about the big tech issues happening across the nation. So today I'm going to start a mini series or maybe a possible series on the channel where once a week I upload a video on, big tech news, lawsuits, etc. Because today we have some pretty big news coming out of Washington, D.C. that's hopefully good for the future of trust busting the big tech companies and, quite frankly, just getting rid of their power and influence because they're kind of just disgusting in most things. So if you don't know, today we got news out of Washington, D.C. from Tulsi Gabbard and Paul Gassar. Two vastly different candidates on a lot of issues. But today, they came up with an interesting bill proposal that's called the Breakup Big Tech Act of 2020. Now, when you first read this, you can already tell this is going after big tech, like Google, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you could think of. And, well, you read into some of this bill, and what it does is it takes away a lot of legal immunity from a lot of these big tech companies like Google, Instagram, etc. And it's quite interesting to say the least, because this is the first major law that has basically bipartisanship proposal, I guess, where it's not just one side proposing one bill, one side the other, etc., but a Democrat and a Republican who came together and created this bill. And this is a pretty interesting deal, as this gets rid of many legal immunities for big tech like Instagram, Google, etc. And, well, there's some interesting parts, and I'm gonna lay it out for you guys. So, one of the first things they remove from the legal immunities for big tech is basically collecting data for commercial purposes other than the direct sale of interactive computer service, i.e. turning the user into a commodity, or otherwise monetizing transmission of content. So pretty much in a nutshell, this here basically gives you the legal right to file a lawsuit on a big corporation for basically selling your data to outside sources for God knows what. And that's pretty big. That alone, I think, would solve a lot of issues because, Google, where they just sell everything to China, and Facebook, they just keep selling everything to China. But that's not all. We also got some other good stuff, like acting as a marketplace in the digital space by facilitating the placement of items into the stream of commerce. Pretty much, big tech should not be operating more like a commerce website. Like Instagram should not be a commerce website at all. They should not be using people's data to basically give you commerce stuff. It's kind of a weird thing that they somehow do. Not the expert on it, but you get the point. A lot of this stuff's pretty good. And this came from two vastly different people. Tulsi Gabbard, who is more socially moderate Democrat, who also proposed a base bill today, but not going to get into it because a certain crowd would hate me. I'm just going to post a screenshot of the bill right now. But you get the point. She's more of a socially moderate Democrat, more economically left-wing than most Democrats, but an actual good left-wing Democrat. Like, not the Bernie Sanders left-wing where it's like, everybody gets free stuff for anything. But instead, alright, we want to help the middle-class families, we want to help working-class people by giving them help, not just giving them freebies, but providing them relief instead of just handouts. So that's a pretty interesting candidate. Well, not candidate, former presidential candidate, Tulsi Gabbard. But for Paul Gassar, on the other hand, he's Republican, and quite frankly, he may be my most favorite Republican. Imagine the most populist House representative on the Republicans. That would probably go to Paul Gassar. He's socially based on a lot of issues. Very anti-mass immigration, very anti-free trade, populist on a lot of issues. He's one of the most America First candidates in the House, not named Matt Gaetz. So it's very interesting that these two candidates came together, but it sounds like these two have very similar interests as they want to get rid of big tech, as I think both sides are starting to realize, even some Democrats start to realize that big tech is starting to get out of control, where they're acting like monopolies everywhere, and it's finally a good thing that we finally have some kind of bipartisanship to try to do something. Like, the biggest thing they have to do is get rid of most of 230. Alright, if you don't know what 230 is, that's a legal protection crap that every online business gets. In a nutshell, you get, well, what you got right now, monopolies. And another part of this bill is pretty much it gets rid of most of the 230 for websites. And quite frankly, they explain that the law is out of date and has not kept up with the destructive practices of big tech monopolies who are essentially acting as publishers. That's important. They're not acting like platforms anymore. They're acting like publishers where they're going to push out their own propaganda. If they were for 100% free speech and they weren't publishers, they weren't like censoring content, I really wouldn't care if they like advertise. That's not what I care about. I just have issues where they purposely make stuff they like trend, right? Stuff that's like Orange Man bad, trend. And I just don't like this crap where they purposely like trend like degenerate stuff on holy days for Christians, Catholics, etc. They do it on purpose. It's really just no. It should be what's actually trendy, not just what some random algorithm that favors one side does. So the point of this bill is get rid of a lot of these legal immunities and get rid of a lot of this garbage where they could sell your data for some third-party website you never heard of, some random Chinese website. But yes, you get the point. In a nutshell, this is a pretty good bill proposal. It's not all the way what we need for now. I do think we need to like split up Google from YouTube. I don't think Google should be owning YouTube. It's just, no, that's not a good idea whatsoever. But you get the point. It's a start. We got to keep pushing for getting rid of big tech. That's the biggest issue currently in the United States, outside of China. So keep pushing, guys. We're getting closer to, hey, we're almost going to trust bust Google, or Facebook, I should say. You got that 48-state lawsuit incoming. And if we just keep pushing, we're going to eventually get rid of these, what should be platforms that are publishers, back to platforms. That's what they're supposed to be. Now, one more thing we need to push for is First Amendment protections on Twitter, Facebook, etc. They can't censor you for, oh, you said something that unfavors our candidate Biden. Or what YouTube's doing, where they're deleting videos for being like, hey, this election, there's some suspicious stuff that happened. It's a mess. And you get the point that we definitely need reform. And it's a complete mess what's happening, but yeah. So anyways, guys, if you guys did enjoy this quick video, series thing, I don't know what you call it, hit the link button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, join the Discord, follow my extra Twitter account because the other one got suspended. And yes, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. God bless.